स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय Ramakrishnaय te नमः. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of Bhagavad Gita. We shall begin our session by chanting 2 verses from the meditation on Bhagavad Gita. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanoramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. We have started to study the 22nd verse of the second chapter. Very surprisingly, now the Pitrupaksha is going on, whereby the ancestors from the Pitruloka, they come and visit the houses of their children, the grandchildren or whatever, and they take the loving service of their children, and then they go back. These 15 days is called Pitrupaksha. It is going on now. So now, exactly at that time, we see here, Bhagavad Gita, the verse 22nd is talking about death and birth and what happens after we die. So, very surprisingly, the Pitrupaksha and the thought by Lord Krishna about the giving up of the body and where do we go, what happens, the same thing has come. So, it is very special coincidence. So, irrespective of that, we shall now proceed to study the 22nd verse. We will Chant this verse. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinhati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya Navani grinhati naroparani Navani grinhati naroparani Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyani sanyati navani dehi Anyani sanyati navani dehi. Yatha, just as. Naraha vihaya, a human being. Nara means human being. Vihaya, a person gives up. Jirnani vasamsi, worn out or torn or old cloths. Jirnani vasamsi. Jirnani means worn out or torn. Grinhati, and puts on. So grinhati means puts on. Aparani, navani, other new cloths. Tatha, so also, he, that is the embodied soul, we living beings, the embodied soul, vihaya, this Atman, this Jivatman gives up. Jirnani sharirani, worn out or old or useless bodies, sanyati, and attains into anyani navani, other newer bodies. So that is the word to word meaning of this wonderful 22nd verse. Now we can construe it into a simple meaning. What is that? Just as a person gives up worn out cloths and puts on other new ones, so also this Atman or Jivatman gives up worn out bodies and attains into other newer ones. Now, so here Lord Krishna is talking about Punarjanma. What is Punarjanma? Rebirth or reincarnation. And Maranam and death. What is death and rebirth? And what happens at the time of death and rebirth? And what happens to this Atman at the time of death and rebirth? So that is being discussed here in this verse. So now, recently I read one humor. What is that? The caption is, don't ask spiritual questions to a doctor in a corporate or commercial hospital. Why and how? Now the patient is now sleeping on the bed and he's asking the doctor, visiting doctor, doctor, a spiritual question. Doctor, what happens after we die? You know, this commercial doctor told, we clean up the bed and admit a new patient and put that old body into the mortuary. Pity on that patient. He was asking about after death experience, but the doctor is telling we just throw away the body. We take out the body, put it to the mortuary, clean it and admit new patients. So don't ask a spiritual question to a doctor in a corporate hospital. Now, here we see that birth and rebirth are exactly like changing our clothes or dress. A dress is only a superficial covering on ourselves. But we put on the dress. Now, when we put on the dress, didn't we exist? Yes, we existed. And when the dress is on our body, we exist. And even after you go to the bed or sometime to other places, then you remove your dress, even then you exist. We continue to exist when one dress is removed and another dress is put on. The change belongs only to the superficial layer or covering called dress. But what about the inner content? That is we, the inner content remains the same. Nothing happens to that. So when you have changed the cloth, your Atman or your essence, that is you, do not change. You are the same. So it exists, your dress. When we change our dress, I do not say I have changed myself. You can change only the superficial thing, but not the essential factor. Similarly, every time a jiva or a living being, now what happens, is born, it only means that living being comes freshly dressed. How long a person keeps this dress? It all depends on different people. Have you not noticed? Some people have a very big wardrobe and they go on changing their dress maybe 2 hours once. Depends upon the wardrobe perhaps. Morning one dress, evening one dress, night one dress. Therefore, varieties of dresses are there for different kind of people. So different people, according to their taste, they take dresses, give up the old one. Similarly, the living beings take the physical body, live there in that body for some time, and thereafterwards discard that body. That is said here in this verse. Jirnani vasamsi vihaya. A person throws away dresses which are worn out, which is old. Jirnani vasamsi, worn out clothes. So a person gives it up. Why? Because it is no more useful. It doesn't serve any purpose. And what does he do? Now he cannot go out. He or she, anybody cannot go out without a dress. And therefore, for the sake of transaction, he puts on another dress and goes out. So, Navani aparani grunhati. Aparani means new clothes, other clothes, fresh clothes. So, he takes to go out. He goes, when you want to change your dress, where do you go? To the green room or dressing room, and then quietly change alone, and at that time nobody can see that person, then he comes out. Similarly, what do? We mean what when every jiva does here is this physical body is used for some time. After some time, when it is of not much use and you cannot enjoy anything in that, so what do? You discard that body. This physical body is used for some time, and after some time, it is no more useful to the society or himself as well. So it has become a burden, just like a vegetable. See, when people are admitted to the ICU or in their last, this thing you can see so many tubes everywhere. Tube in this nostril, mouth, in the mouth one, that also doesn't work. Then they will make a hole here and another tube is inserted. So many tubes like in a vegetable, that body they go on inserting. Then what will that person do in that body? He cannot use it at all. So he discards it. He doesn't want it. Just like he will leave, his life will be like a vegetable. So this person is only on survival mode. No benefit to oneself or others. Therefore, what should we do? Body is discarded. So he says, Tata jirnani sharirani vihaya. Similarly, the old worn out clothes So the bodies are discarded by the living being, and once that body is discarded, just as the living being goes to a green room, a person goes to a green room when a dress is changed, he goes to the dressing room, then nobody sees him. Similarly, the living being is also invisible once the body is gone. So the living being or Jiva continues, but only he is invisible. Where is he? In the green room. So, which green room? The green room of Bhagavan, the Lord, who has got, the Lord has got very, very big wardrobe. The body of the monkey, the body of the donkey, the body of the pig, the body of the insect. So many varieties of dresses are there. So, according to your karma, now you will choose some body, because whatever karma you have done, good or bad, accordingly you will choose one body. Then birth is, you will come in that body. That's all. Now, why are we so afraid of death? So we should not be afraid of death. Now, by this verse, we are getting that idea. Why is death important? So death is also very important. You should note that. Everyone fears death, but birth and death are laws of creation. It is essential for the balance of the universe. Without it, human beings would dominate one another. How? Let us go through this and find out. What is this? A story. Once a king visited a sage who was sitting under a tree outside his kingdom. He asked, "O venerable saint or sage, if there is any herb or medicine that can grant immortality, I have to overcome death, I don't want to die, please let me know." The sage replied, "O king, please cross 2 mountains in front of you. There you will find a lake. Drink its water and you will become immortal." After crossing 2 mountains, because the king was so eager to get immortality, he didn't want to die. So he rushed to cross the 2 mountains. The king found a lake. And as he was eagerly about to drink the water, he heard painful groans nearby. Following the sound, he found there a weak man lying in deep pain. When the king asked the reason, the man said, "I drank the water of this lake and became immortal. After that, I turned 100 years old." He is telling that old man, "But I didn't die. My son threw me out of the house because he couldn't look after me. I have been lying here without anything, not having food or care last 50 years. No one to care for me. And not only that, his son also passed away. And his grandchildren have now become old. So the whole generation is gone. Now they are all become, grandchildren also have become old. Now, so I have stopped eating and drinking. I want to die, yet I'm still alive. I can't die." See the condition. Now the king pondered, what is this? What is the use of deathlessness or immortality with this old age? Should I live for this? To see everybody die and suffer? No. After pondering much, he ran back to the sage with the thought, what is that? What is the use of the immortality with old age and suffering? What if I gain youth along with immortality? So let me also ask for another boon from the sage. What is that? Not only immortality, that is deathlessness, but also youthfulness and strength. He went back to the sage to find a solution and asked the sage, "Venerable sage, please tell me, how can I gain both immortality and youth?" The sage replied, "So, go crossing the lake. You go to that lake, again crossing the 2 mountains. Crossing that lake, you will find another mountain. Cross it and you will find a tree filled with yellow fruits. Eat one of them and you will gain both deathlessness, that is immortality, and also youth. Now the king eagerly crossed another mountain and found a tree filled with yellow fruits, and he was about to pluck that fruit and eat one. He heard loud arguments and fights. He wondered who could be quarreling in such a remote place. He saw 4 young, strong men arguing and fighting. They were arguing loudly. What was that? The king asked them, "Why are you fighting?" One of them said, "I am now 250 years old, and that man on my right is 300 years old. He's not giving my share of my property." He was his father. This 250 years old is the son, and 300 years old person is the father. So they are fighting for the property. My father is not giving my property. So I'm fighting with this 350-year-old father. He's still alive and hasn't given me my share. Now that he's also complaining, how can I give now this thing property to my son, his children? Now the man pointed to his father. Then when he went and accosted the 350-year-old father, "Why are you not giving his share? Please give him the share." Then he pointed to another man who was 400 years old. And he shared the same complaint. He is my father and he has not given his property to me. When I don't have the property, how can I give it to my child? So the man pointed to the father who was 400 years old and shared the same complaint. All of them told the king that their endless fight for property had driven the villagers to get angry and expel them out from the village. Shocked, the king turned, ran back to the sage and said, "Thank you, O sage, for teaching me the importance of death." See, death is necessary. Otherwise, the life after that is worse than that death. So it's a boon. Otherwise, the suffering will be too much. Now you have seen that. Now he thanked the sage. "Thank you, O sage, for teaching me the importance of death. Because of this death, because of the existence of this death, there is love in the family, love in the world. Instead of trying to avoid death, live each day and every moment happily. Do not worry about death. Now you are living in the present. Try to live happily every moment. Do not worry about the future. Live in peace, live in happiness every second. Enjoy your life. Do not worry about death and other things." So it's a great blessing that this life has been given. Enjoy your every second of the life. So because of this death, there is love and affection in this world. Instead of trying to avoid death, live each day and every moment happily. Change yourself and the world will change. So, how important is death? Otherwise, terrible suffering. So do not worry about that. Live a good life. Take the name of the Lord. Realize God in this very life. Then you will not be worried about anything at all. You need not worry about death. So Lord Krishna himself is telling the greatness of death and why is it so important. So the Dehi, now when this changes is going on, birth and death in Shankaracharya's Mohamudgara, one wonderful poetry, a devotional song has been written. What is that? An old person, he was 98 years old. Then somehow in that age, he developed interest to study Sanskrit grammar. The age of 99, he developed interest to study Sanskrit grammar. For all the people, grammar, he wanted to study grammar. See, there was one old man, maybe 99.5 years old. He was on the deathbed. All the family members have gathered there and they are waiting for the doctor to come. The doctor came. He checked the pulse, he checked all the parameters and told only few hours or few days for your father to survive. He will die. So fulfill all his desires if there is any. If he wants to eat something special. So everything, call all the relatives, let him see all the face of the grandchildren. Only few more hours to survive. So the doctor went away. Now the children came and told father, please tell, do you have any last wishes? What was the wish of the father? To change the doctor. Change the doctor. This doctor is not all right. I want to live more. So change the doctor. So this is our fate. So now this 99-year-old man wanted to study grammar. So in the grammar, Sanskrit grammar, we have to get by heart so many things. So suppose there is the Vibhakti Pratyaya. The name will be taken, the noun, and that will be, so many things will be added to make it case endings. Like just like if it is Rama, to Rama, from Rama, by Rama. So it is Rama, Haramo, Rama. We have to get, we have done it while studying Sanskrit in our younger days. We used to get it by heart. What is that? Take up the name Rama, then add all these Vibhakti Pratyaya. And not only that, singular case, then Dvivachana, two, this thing is also there. Then Bahuvachana, that is plural. All that has to be, we have to get it by heart. Rama, Haramo, Rama, He Rama, He Ramo, He Rama, Ramam, Ramo, Raman, Ramayana, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi. Like that you should go on getting by heart. Then after that, the verbs will come. So the verbs come from the origin is from the dhatu, root word. So we have to take up and get by heart that also. So now this old man got this chance to study the verbs. So in the 99-year-old, and he is now, okay, if you are a young guy and a young boy or girls, if you start chanting and learning that, wonderful. But this old man, to die, the time is so near, then he started getting by heart. What is that? Dukrang karane, dukrai karane, dukring karane. Dukri is the dhatu. The meaning is karane. So that is the dictionary word he took up and started getting by heart 100 times. Dukring karane, dukring karane. Then Shankaracharya saw him. What is this 99-year-old? Then he composed this wonderful stotra called Moha Mudgara. What is that? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. Oh foolish man, take the name of God. Instead of that, you are telling the grammar, Dukrung Karane, Dukrung Karane. What is the use of that? In this old age, take the name of Govinda, the Lord. Repeat the name of the Lord. So Bhaja Govindam, that wonderful song is there. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate, Samprapte san nehite kale, nahi nahi rakshati dukring karane. Samprapte, when the death comes, Yama comes and catches hold of you and drags you out of this body, out of this life, then this dukring karane, grammatical, this thing will not come to your rescue. Take the name of the Lord. Only Lord Govinda can come to your rescue. So that's called Moha Mudgara. You know what is moha? Moha means attachment. Mudgara means the pestle. In India, even nowadays, if you go to the villages, to separate the husk from the paddy, so there will be a pestle. They will put it into that mortar and they will pound it. So that husk will be separated and the essence, that is the rice or from the paddy, will be taken out. So they will go on, the mothers there, they will be pounding it like this in the pestle. So Mudgara means pestle. So now with this Bhajagovindam means it is just like a pestle to pound your head and remove your attachment so that your mind will turn towards God. So that's why I used to tell when I was taking this class on Moha Mudgara, it's called the pestle. So next time when you come to the class, wear a helmet. Because it's a pestle which will pound your head and remove your attachment to all these things. So it's a pestle, Moha Mudgara. So in that Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jatare, Punarapi Janani Jatare Shayanam. So he tells there, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam. Again and again you have to come in different bodies, different taking this thing. And you have to live for 9 months or so many days in the womb of the mother. You will be floating in that, that liquid. and so much of pain there, so much of pain. What is this? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, bahudustare, kripaya pare, O Lord Murare, please protect me from all these things. So that is the beautiful stotra is there. So now, what happens to this while the change is taking place when we die? What happens to that us, the Dehi takes, and what will happen? What are the transaction happening? Sukham, dukham, and again you throw away the cloth and take another one. Thus, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. The cycle goes on and on. This, but what about the essence, the within our Atman? But here we can look at this verse from two different angles. If we go back to our earlier studies, we have told about, here we have to talk about 4 items. What are that? At the time of the death, which one gets destroyed amongst the 4 that now we have? The sthula sharira, the gross body. And within that layer, we have another body called sukshma sharira. That is the subtle body. Then within that is the karana sharira, the causal body. And within that is our Atman, the true nature, the Paramatman or God residing, that is within. So out of this, when you have the death, which is destroyed, which is going to be, that is, which are going to give up like the torn cloth, it is only during the time of death, it is only our physical body which we are going to discard. Then what about the other, the subtle body, the causal body, and the Atman will be as it is. They are not going to destroy, let alone Atman. Even your subtle body and the causal body is not destroyed during the time of death. Only the physical body, the external covering, is discarded or you die. So, out of these 4, what is that? Sthula, Sukshma, then Karana, and the Atman. What is happening? Only the physical body perishes or destroyed, which means the other 3 will survive the death of the body. Therefore, Sukshma Sharira will continue. That is what it is, not the Atman which is changing and other things. It is only the Sukshma Sharira. What is this subtle body consisting of? So the subtle body consists, now the physical body, you know, you can go and ask the doctors. Doctors will tell you about the physical body, but they will not know the Sukshma Sharira. So what is this subtle body? The subtle body consists of your mind, your indriyas, your intellect, and all that thing. It consists of your subtle body. You have 5 sense organs and 5, that is organ of action and organ of the cognition. Gnanendriya, karmendriya. So from the nose, from the ears, from the eyes, from the skin, you cognize the thing of the world, you get knowledge. They are called gnanendriya. But with other 5 organs, you do the work, the hand, the legs, and the other 5 organs. They are called karmendriya, organs of action. This is organ of knowledge, 5. Mind, intellect. So this constitutes your subtle body. So that will not get destroyed. It will continue. Then what is causal body? See, out of so many years of your existence, you are developing so many desires. So that desires of yours has now formed into seed. It takes the seed form. Bija Rupa, seed form. So they are called vasana. The concretized desire of yours, it's called vasana. Subtle desires, it is in the seed form. So that is the cause of life. Because of your desire, how did I get the desire? Because of ignorance. So ignorance or avidya and the subtle desires, that is the vasana, that causes our birth and death. That is the cause. Our desires, our subtle desires are the cause for our birth and death and death. So that is in the seed form. That is called vasana. So now, can you give an example of vasana? Okay. Now somewhere in Durban, you will go to some restaurant and you eat something there. Because people told that that was very good. So you go there and eat some item in that restaurant. Let us hope whichever dish you may like. Okay, let us take one dish like masala dosa or chow mein or some you call here the bunny chow or whatever you like. Some good thing is there. You will go and eat in that restaurant. So it's very good. After you give up, you go to another day to another restaurant and eat that. But you will tell, oh, that day which I ate, that was very good. This hotel thing is not good, this restaurant. So next time I will go there. So now that going there again you will eat. Oh, the first time the taste was very good. This time so I will come again and again. So that desire, that eating, that goes to the seed form. So whenever you fulfill the desire, it is still deepening and deepening and it is forming there in the seed form and sitting in you. That is called vasana. That will drag you to go and do all these actions. So that vasana is the cause. That's why the deep-rooted desire which comes out of ignorance is the cause of your birth and rebirth and suffering and other things. That's why it's called causal body, which causes everything. So now you have come to know the three layers. Physical body, which is called sthula sharira, the physical or gross. Then sukshma sharira, which is called the subtle body. And what is causing all these things is your deep-rooted desires, which are called vasana, and the ignorance. That is the causal body, which causes everything. So that is also not destroyed. Subtle body is also not destroyed. And Atman, it cannot be destroyed at all. So what are you crying afterwards? What about your death? Nothing, only the physical body you have given up, discarded, useless physical body. Then what are you crying for? You are existing still. So that is what here, when you study from this wonderful verse, you will come to know. That is very, very important. Then what about Atman, your true nature? When Sukshma Sharira, that is a subtle body, and the Karana Sharira themselves continue and they are not destroyed, what to talk about Atman? Your true nature cannot be destroyed at all. Atman will also continue. So this Sukshma Sharira or Karana Sharira, we shall give one name, that is embodied being. That is called here Dehi. Because we can't each time now conversation tell Sukshma Sharira and other things. We shall embodied being or the Jiva. Now, what is happening now? Atman also survives, these are also surviving. Then what afterwards? This Sukshma Sharira or the embodied soul will travel to another place where it can take a body and experience pleasure and pain because it has desire. Now you may ask, I cannot see the subtle body. I will not believe about it. I can see the physical body. I can feel it. So I believe in it. But I don't see the causal body or the subtle body. So how shall I believe? Now if the question is asked, how shall I now answer? Yeah, there was one Kathakar, Harikatha, he was doing Harikatha. He was telling about God. So one of the youth, he was a non-believer, atheist, he stood up and told, I don't believe in all those things because I don't see God, so I don't believe in God. Now how to explain the Kathakar was a difficulty. And somehow God gave him some intelligence from within. Then he told, now, can you see your body? Yes. Can you see your mind? No. Can you see your intellect? No. So what did you tell? Whatever I don't see, I don't believe. You can't see your intellect. So that means don't you have intellect and mind? No, I have mind and intellect. Where is it? Show it to me. I can't show it. Then I can't believe it. So Non-experience is not non-existence. It is there. Likewise, simply because you don't see it, don't think that it does not exist. Just like you don't see your mind. So can you tell that your mind does not exist? I don't see your mind, but you have your mind. Don't you have your mind or not? Do not say no. To say no, I don't have my mind, you also need your mind. To tell that I don't have a mind, you need a mind to tell that, isn't it? Without your mind, you can't tell I don't have a mind. So just like if you want to deny the existence of God, if you tell God doesn't exist, first you have to exist to tell that God doesn't exist. Without you first existing, how can you tell that God doesn't exist? So likewise, we do not see our mind, but non-perception is not non-existence. This should be very clear. Non-perception does not mean non-existence. Now, I do not see your mind, though I do view your mind. You do not have a mind should not be the conclusion. Similarly, after the fall of this body, our subtle body consisting of this mind, intellect and all that organs, prana. There is one more thing called prana. Prana is energy, the life force. They travels according to what law? The law of karma. If a lot of punya, if you have done lot of good deeds, charity, and you have still the desire, then you will go to Pitraloka. For 3 generations, you will be staying in the Pitraloka. From Pitraloka, then afterwards, based on your good deeds, you will go to still higher loka. There are so many high different spheres, plane of existence, like Yakshaloka, Gandharvaloka, Kinnara Loka, so many. But it depends upon how much charity you have done. If you have done lot of charity, lot of good deeds and everything, then you will go to the highest, that is the Swargaloka, heaven. There all enjoyments, no suffering, no old age, nothing. All that is common in every religion, you can find that heaven. So now, but suppose you have a lot of money now. You go to a tour or an excursion. So based upon your budget, you will be admitted into the different kind of hotels. Suppose if you have ordinary amount of money, then you will get the 3-starred hotel. Suppose if you have little more money, then you can get 5-starred hotel. Suppose you have much more money, then 7-starred hotel. So all that, the facility goes on increasing. Your enjoyment goes on increasing. Then if you are a billionaire, then you will go to the cruise. You will buy a chartered flight or a cruise. Then if you have still lot of money, you will buy yourself all the things. So, but after your money gets exhausted, even when you go with lot of money, they will take you in, singing with music and everything, welcoming. So, after your money is exhausted, they will bring you out and push you out of the hotel or the restaurant. You have to come back again after your money is exhausted. Likewise, all that because of your desire, you have done lot of good deeds, you have earned lot of punya. So because of that, you could go to all these lokas like Pitraloka, Gandharvaloka, Yakshaloka, or still higher heaven and all the other place. But the moment you may live thousands of years, you may live 10,000 years, you may live millions of years. But after your punya is over, not even 1 second can you stay there. The angels and those people who welcomed you earlier will bring you back again and throw you down. In Bhagavad Gita itself, that shloka comes. What is that? Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. The moment your punya is exhausted, your virtues, all the good deeds, all that is exhausted, then they will come and put you down, throw you down. You will come down and fall into this earth again. So when will you come to this earth? When you are sin and virtue, papa and punya is 50-50. Equal, then you come. This is an admixture. This world, bhuloka, it is mixture of both punya and papa. When it becomes equal, you come here. When it becomes more, you go up. When it becomes too low, suppose you have done only sinful deeds and your punya is less, then you have to go to the nether worlds. What is that? Plane of existence, Bhuloka. This is Bhuloka. When you tell the Gayatri Mantra, what do you repeat? First, the line is Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha, Bhur Bhuva Swaha. That is indicative of 7 plane sphere of existence above. Bhuhu is the center, Bhuvaha is next to the Pitraloka, Swaha, Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Tapaha Mahaha Janaha. So like that, Satyaloka, 7 up above the 6 above the earth. So 7 total. Below, Atala Pitala Patala Rasa Atala Tala Atala. So it goes on, the netherworld. So there, all these bad things, because you have to undergo all the bad things you have done. So these are all, not that there are something like you can find some world and other things. More than physical, it is different planes of existence where you have to enjoy or experience the actions, whatever you have done. There, while you are only enjoying the sins, what is there? You cannot do anything. You have to only enjoy the bad deeds. Haven't you seen the cow, ox or the donkey, the beast of burden? They will be beaten, they will be loaded upon, and they have to work and work and work. They cannot commit anything new. It is only exhausting their bad karmas. Now, so you can see some people always undergoing so much of disease, pain and suffering because they can't do anything. Only they have to suffer the bad deeds. Now, even in the Swargaloka or all the other lokas, you will be only exhausting your punya karmas. You can't do any good deeds there too. Then what is the speciality of this human life, the Bhuloka which you are now existing? This is the only place you can do good deeds and come out of it. You cannot get liberation even in heaven or in any of the lokas or in this thing. You cannot get liberation or freedom, work out your freedom. You have the freedom to do the work, your self-effort, and get out of all this bondage, even in the Netherlands or in the upper lokas. Only in this Bhuloka you can do. Here. So what a great opportunity you have got as a human being. You can achieve wonders which you cannot do even in the heaven. So such is the great thing. And how are you using this life of yours? How are you utilizing your life? All your childhood has gone in play. In the youth, everything has gone in dream. And then after marrying and other things, your middle age, everything in working and doing all the work, you have exhausted everything. Then in the old age, only worries and worries. When is the time for your redemption? When are you going to awake and do something for your higher life? How are you using your life? How are you wasting your life? Though this is the best life, the human life is the best life. Where is your life going towards? Suppose a person goes to the railway station or the airport and you want to take a ticket to reach some destination. Where do you want the ticket to? Where do you want to go? Give wherever you want. Will you go and tell the issuing person of the ticket in the railway station or the bus stand or the aeroplane? Give wherever you want. Should have something as destination, some goal in life. Otherwise, it is drifting and drifting and drifting. And after a certain age, it is just going down. You have to worry and worry and worry. Now, this human life, make use of it. That's why, see, after studying all these things, you get all these ideas that, yes, it is in your hand. You can change your future. You can change any condition of yours. It is in your hand. And you can work out here. But once you give up the body and you go to the different lokas, then you can't do any work there. Only exhausting the karma phala you have done. Whichever loka you go, even to get liberation, Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Varuna, the gods and the demigods, they also, if they want liberation, have to come to this Bhuloka and take a human birth. Without getting a human birth in this loka, you cannot get freedom. Even the highest position of Indra, he has to come down, take a birth here to get liberation. So, how precious is your this wonderful birth. So, we have discussed about this. Let us now see what Swami Vivekananda tells about this verse. Vivekananda also puts it in a wonderful way. He tells, Vasamsi Jirnani Yata Vihaya. Now we should note that at the time of the death of Vivekananda, if you have noticed, if you have read his life, after going to Kashmir and coming back, he decided and he asked one of his disciple and the sevak who was there, attendant, to bring the Panchanga, the almanac. And he went through that and looked for a very auspicious date. Then after that particular day when he wanted to give up his body, he told his attendant, I want to stay in meditation, do not disturb me. Until I call you, don't come in. Then sitting in meditation, he gave up his body. So then at the very same time, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna was very close to Swami Vivekananda, who respected Swami Vivekananda. That was Swami Ramakrishnaanandaji, Shashi Maharaj. He was in Chennai. He had started all the centers in South India. He was in Chennai at that time. So exactly at that time, here, Ramakrishnaanandaji had the vision of Swami Vivekananda. Told, Naren, what are you doing here? Then Vivekananda told him, Shashi, I have cast out my physical body just like a worn out garment. I have spit it out. They told and disappeared. Then when he found out the telegram and other place, in the olden days there was no mobile or anything, then the next day he got the news Swami Vivekananda had given up his body. So Vivekananda told this very word to him, I've cast out this physical body just like a worn out leaf and thrown it out, spat it out, and I have gone out. And then he disappeared. So now what is Vivekananda? While living, he is explaining about this Vasamsi Jirnani Yata Vihaya. As the embodied person throws away a worn out dress and puts on a new one, so does the embodied self discard worn out bodies and adopt other newer bodies. Now he tells, so far in the Bhagavad Gita now, until now, we have been discussing about God or Atman and the nature of Atman. And also we discussed about the eternal nature of God or Atman. And also about the nature, Prakriti, eternal nature. Then what about the souls? What about we souls, individual soul? We studied about in the Bhagavad Gita in the beginning about the Paramatman, the nature, eternal nature, and also the what you call the Prakriti or the things of enjoyment, outer world, that is also eternal. Then what about us? What about the individual souls? They also are eternal. No soul was ever created. Neither can the soul die. Nobody can even imagine his own death. The soul is infinite, eternal. How can it die? It only changes bodies. As a man takes off his old, worn out garments and puts on new, fresh ones, even so, the worn out body is thrown away and a fresh body is taken. There are two sorts of race. Now we tell racial discrimination. But in our Hindu religion, we get two race. What is that two race? One is the Devatas and the other is demons. So why? They were the children of the same Rishi. Who was that? Kashyapa Maharshi. He had two wives. What was the name of the first wife? Aditi. Name may be familiar. So many people keep the name Aditi to their daughters. But nobody keeps their daughter name as Diti. Why? The other wife was Diti. So Aditi's children were the gods. Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varuna, all those things, the sun god, the other gods, they were all the children of Aditi. But the father is the same, Kashyapa. Then Diti's children were Daityas, the demons. Why they got separated? They are from the same parents. Why did they become different? Yes, I will tell. Now, Swami Vivekananda is telling there are two sorts of race, the divine and the demoniac. So, what is this divine? How did they become divine or devatas? The divine think that they are soul and the spirit, not the body. The demoniac think that they are only the bodies and they are interested only in bodily pleasures only. They are demoniacal. So did you come to know? Now we, human beings, are the thing who become gods if we think we are not the body. Yes, you have to give as much importance to the body, as much to keep it alive and healthy to do the work. But in reality, we are not that. We are higher beings. Then we become divine. Suppose we think we are the entity is body, nothing other than body. Just give and pamper this body and just enjoy this life. They only become demons. So the human beings only become demoniacal. They only become the gods. So there is nothing like two separate races. We only human beings, according to our nature, we become divine or demoniacal. There are two sorts of races, the divine and the demoniac. The divine think that they are the souls, the Atman. The demoniac think that they are bodies. The old Indian philosophers tried to insist that the body is nothing. As a man emits his old garments and takes a new one, even so the old body is shed and he takes a new one. Now we have understood it emotionally. Now we have to think about it a little scientifically. So some example should be given whereby it will convince us at least intellectually. So what can be that example? Yeah, beautiful example is given here. What is that beautiful example? The embodied, that is, this is the body. The one who is embodied in that is the embodied soul. So the embodied is set to cast off the old and enter the new bodies. Since all pervading, our Atman is God and Paramatman, so is all pervading. We studied it earlier, Krishna told. So if he is all pervading, how can he move? How can he go from one body to another body? Is the question. So if Atman is all pervading, he cannot move. The embodied in this context cannot refer to it. Obviously, this refers only to the subtle and the causal body. In death, the mind, intellect, along with its inherent vasana, leaves the body to enter another body. The transference takes place in the medium of the all-pervading Atman. So we are asking, what will happen to Atman when we died? The transference of this happens in the presence, or so that this phenomenon is like now the transference takes place in the medium of the all-pervading Atman. What is this phenomenon like? This phenomenon is like the reflection of sun in mirror. See, this is a very beautiful example. Now, let us understand this example and close our session for today. What is this beautiful example? The sun rays are all pervading like God or Atman. Okay? There is just one sun above, but in each reflecting surface, there appears below, though there is only one sun giving out light, it looks, because there are so many reflecting surfaces, we see so many reflected sun. And also the individual sun. The reflected sun assumes the properties of the reflecting medium. The sun seen through a blue mirror appears blue. Through a dirty mirror, dirty, and so on. But the sun above remains immaculate and unconditioned by the qualities of the mirror that reflects it. Now, with this example, similarly, there is just one all-pervading Atman or God. There is only one. There are not many souls. Then how do we look many? Then you told that so many souls are there. Yes, now you will understand it. Similarly, there is just one all-pervading Atman. The mind, intellect, or the subtle body or the causal body acts like a mirror. The inherent vasanas or the desires which we told as a causal body are like the metal film coated at the back of a mirror. How does the mirror is nothing but a glass. Why doesn't the glass reflect? Only the mirror reflect, because on the other end they put this film which will not allow the light to pass through it. It will reflect it. That is the reason it reflects. So that becomes a mirror. So what is now that thing which is stopping the light to go on the other side? The vasanas, the desire, the causal body. The inherent vasanas are like the metal film coated at the back of the mirror, which gives the mirror its characteristics. The mind, intellect, vasana rests within a physical body as a mirror now rests in a frame. You know, the mirror in your house as a frame. So the subtle body, that is the mirror, and the vasanas, that is the film, that rests in a frame. The human body, individual body. Now, what happens to the Atman? The sun, nothing happens. The sun is at only the reflecting medium changes. The frame, at the time of the death, only the frame of the mirror is changed. Will something happen to the sun, original sun? Nothing. It is not touched by the reflecting surface. If it is a dirty mirror, the sun is not affected, because it is all pervading. All the time it exists. Whether it is a blue mirror, nothing happens to the sun. Whether it is a red mirror, nothing happens to the sun. Likewise, all we, the body, the mind and everything, the body is the frame, and our mind and intellect is just like the glass or the mirror, and the vasana is that film which is reflecting the sunlight. That's all. So it is called Bimba Pratibimba Nyaya. So there is only one God. Then how are we looking so many? Because of the reflecting medium. So are there many souls? No. There's the one God appearing in you. So now scientifically you understood it with logic. Now another beautiful example is the building. You have your house. So what happens to the space or the akasha? When somebody, now after 50 years you will sell that house and you go to another house. Then somebody buys it and now destroys that small building, and they will make a multi-storied building there. What happened to the space? Did the space also get destroyed when the building was destroyed? No. The space is always there. Nothing has happened. The change is only in the external building. It became big or small or different shape. The architect decides. Likewise, the Atman within, that is your true nature, the Lord within, there will be no change. I've given you two beautiful examples of the mirror and the sun, and also the Atman or the space in the building. So likewise, when there is death, nothing happens to your subtle body, nothing happens to your causal body. They are the one which are moving from one place to one place, but your Atman, which is only one and all pervading, doesn't move. So it is only the subtle body which is moving to the Pitraloka, which is going here and there, because you have desires. Once when you give up desire, then nothing can stop you by identifying yourself with God. So we will stop our discussion here. There is a lot of things to learn about this reincarnation, the death, and about our Atman and other things in this verse, because it's so interesting, so that we can easily give up the fear of death and we can enjoy every bit of our life without any fear of death. So we will study, we will make it more relevant to our life by different discussion on this particular same topic. For today, we will stop by chanting one of the meditation verses of Bhagavad Gita. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.